you. But Haley did make a very good point that I didn't think of before, about how if we took all the guns away from everyone, that would kind of defy what the Constitution is about, which was a really good point. However, I do view that guns should be taken away. I think that, yes, we're trying to get a handle on it, and I understand that even if no guns were sold at all in our country, that somehow guns would get into the wrong hands. But a good example of just like an accident that's just recently happened is Alec Baldwin. He was just trying to do his job. He was just trying to act and thought that what he was shooting was a prop. But instead, there were real bullets, and he killed one of his coworkers on set. And I can only imagine the trauma that the family has, but not only them, but Alec as well, because he's probably traumatized. Like, he thought that he was just not shooting a real thing, and it turns out he ended up killing someone. But there's also been research done by the underlying causes of death in the CDC. And this was in 2019, where, like, just in Utah, the overall death by guns was 12.8. But what was kind of disturbing was in Missouri, there was 20.6 overall, but they kind of broke it up into races. And whites was 14.8, but for blacks, it was 58.9. And in almost every state, the blacks were higher in almost every state, which I'm not saying that they're targeted, but you can definitely see that race does kind of play a little bit on the shootings. There's also, again, accidental shootings. There was just a report done in August of 2021 about accidental shootings with kids in the home. They stated that there was 44% of U.S. adults that live in households with a gun, including a third who say they own one. And that was just in October 2020. But then in an Everytown survey they predicted that 5.4 million children are living in households in the U.S. with at least one loaded and unlocked gun. And then they did what's the word? Not a survey, but they were like doing statistics, and they found that there were 98 deaths that resulted from unintentional shootings by children from March through December 2019, compared to 120 over that same period in 2020. And in 2021, there have been 259 unintentional shootings by children, resulting in 104 deaths and 168 injuries nationally. And they stated that at the pace, this Everytown for gun safety, they state that the 383 cases of accidental shootings by kids occurred, and at least 156 people were killed. So I just think it's important because there's also, I could go on, there's the Orlando shooting in the LGBTQ community, where they targeted them and used dangerous weapons. And but again, I really, it does make me think about what Haley said, that if we did take the guns away, then that would be defying the Constitution. So I don't know exactly the best way to handle it, but that's just how I see it.
Yeah, I also got a lot of the statistics that you did about like the children and the death. I actually think all my notes are